Hey everyone, Jordan here at Totally Bored, and in this video, I'll be talking about my most anticipated games of 2024. To kick things off, we have Undaunted 2200 Callisto, published by Osprey Games and designed by David Thompson and Trevor Benjamin. Now, I love the Undaunted series. This was number 9 on my top 10 board games of all time, so I think very highly of this game. I'm a little biased going into this iteration of Undaunted, and what they are doing in 2200 is essentially stripping away the World War II theme that all the other games have and creating a new original space/sci-fi theme. So I'm really hyped for this, mostly because a lot of my friends aren't really trying to play World War II games, and I think the space theme is a little more appealing for more people in my group specifically. You know, Terraforming Mars is a current favorite, Planet Unknown, Dune, so I think this game is going to fit right in, and I just love the Undaunted system. If you've never played it, it is a deck building skirmish game where each player takes control of a specific army and you are duking it out, playing cards, rolling dice for combat, trying to achieve your objective and win the game. And the reason I love this game is that it is very accessible, not really a gateway game or like a first time game for new players, but the turns are simple enough and it's just very fluid to where it is, you know, once someone gets accustomed with a system, games can be over really quickly, you know, 45 minutes, which I like that a lot. And yeah, all in all, I'm really hyped for this game. I did read that it's going to be a big box similar to Stalingrad, so I don't know price-wise where this is going to be or how much content is going to be in the box, but even in the smaller boxes like Normandy and North Africa, there's a ton of content. Replayability is like infinite, so super hyped for this game, and if you're not familiar with it, I'll send a link, or I'll put a link in the description so you can check out more about this game. Next up, we have Wyrmspan. This is published by Stonemaier Games, developed by Elizabeth Hargrave, and designed by Connie Vogelman, who also designed Apiary. So that's a pretty stacked group of people working on this game, and all in all, this game is Wingspan, but with dragons instead of birds. Now, it is going to add different levels of complexity as well as new mechanisms. Jamie Stegmaier actually went live on his YouTube and did a short little playthrough of the game, as well as answered a ton of questions about it. So I'm going to go ahead and link that here so you can get some more info on it if you're interested. But Wingspan, I've played it around 3 times. I think I have it at a 7 on BGG, which is very respectable. I like the game. I think as far as the mechanisms, the engine building is very good. It's very fluid. I think the game's accessible. It's not necessarily something I'm going to be playing with a first-time board gamer, but it's close. I mean, you could play this with just about anybody, and most people are going to like the theme, but I myself, I'm a huge fantasy dork. I like dragons. They're immediately S tier when I see something with dragons in it, so that's partially why I'm so hyped for this, being able to give the system a chance again in a theme that I'm a lot more interested in is definitely selling me on it pretty hard. And it releases January 31st, which is in like 2 weeks. So I'm gonna definitely plan on getting this to the table soon, doing some kind of overall impressions or review on this game. But I actually did ask you guys on my YouTube channel which one you were hyped for or which one you think is more interesting, and 61% of you voted in favor of Wyrmspan. So we're kind of on the same wavelength there, but a good chunk of people still preferred Wingspan. So I am curious, which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know why you think why you prefer one over the other. But all in all, very hyped for this game and excited to get it to the table soon. Next up, we have Invincible, the hero building game, published by Direwolf Games and designed by Kevin Spack. Now, if you've never heard of Invincible, this is a show on Amazon Prime about a young Mark Grayson who acquires superpowers, and it's about his journey learning to live with these powers. It's based on Robert Kirkman's Invincible comics, who is the same writer of the Walking Dead comics, so crazy track record with him, and the show is amazing. I watched the first season and then I went and bought all the comics because I had to know what happened, and it has seriously become one of my favorite series of all time. So to learn that Direwolf is making an Invincible game has me even more hyped for this. Direwolf is the same publisher behind Dune Imperium, Dune Uprising, as well as the Clank game, so crazy track record with that. So I'm really, really confident in this game. I'm not trying to get too hyped trying to keep my composure a little bit. But yeah, really, really stoked for this. About the game itself, there's not a ton of information. I couldn't really find any information on the designer, Kevin Spack, but the game itself is going to involve bag building as well as tableau building, and it's going to have some campaign elements. So with that being said, I think it's going to be very interesting. There's a few images online, which I'm going to go ahead and put on the screen right now so you can take a look at the board itself. And this may or may not change depending on when the game finally releases, but all in all, super, super stoked for this game. If you've never seen Invincible, watch it right now. I promise you, you will not regret it. Fourth up on the list, we have Ezra and Nehemiah, published by Garphill Games and designed by Shem Phillips and S.J. McDonald. These are the same designers who brought us the West Kingdom trilogy, as well as games like Hadrian's Wall and Legacy of You and a lot more. And they have a proven track record of making some really good, very difficult, complex games, and Ezra and Nehemiah looks to be no different. Now, if you've seen my I Joined the Dark Side video, you'll know that this is the first and only game that I have ever kickstarted. I was really, really interested in the theme. I think the biblical theme is very unexplored in board games especially, and so really hyped to play this. And if you're unfamiliar with it, it is a game where you are taking on the role of someone who is bringing in the exiles back into Jerusalem and working to rebuild the walls. There's a lot more mechanisms involved, especially within the walls and in the city that you'll be performing, but very deep, very complex. I have watched a few different overviews, impressions, previews of the game, and it looks really, really good. Beautiful game, difficult. It already looks complex and heavy. I've heard that it's one of their heaviest games that they've ever made, which may scare off some people, but I do have this downloaded on Tabletop Simulator. I've looked at the game, haven't played it at all yet, but I will do that soon and give you guys some first impressions of the game itself. But all in all, really, really hyped for this. I believe it's going to be shipping out, or it's going to be delivered around August 2024, according to the Kickstarter, but I will keep you guys posted when I get further details. But yeah, super, super hyped for this. Cannot wait to play Ezra and Nehemiah. Now, the fifth and final game that I am most anticipating in 2024 is Dead Cells, the Rogue-Lite board game, published by Scorpion Mask and designed by Antoine Bauza, Corentin Labrat, Ludovic Maublanc, and Theo Riviere. Now, Antoine Bauza, he is the designer of Seven Wonders, as well as Takenoko and Hanabi. So to know that he, along with 3 other people, are working on this game tells me that it is in good hands. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Dead Cells, this is originally a roguelite video game where you're taking on the role of a beheaded, which is a warrior essentially, and you are trying to explore the area around you, gather new equipment and abilities, as well as stronger weapons, and find mutations, which are going to allow you to change the course of the game and even bring those mutations into future plays of the game. So I freaking love Dead Cells, the video game. So I'm really honestly just curious how this is going to be implemented into a board game. I don't know what to expect, honestly. I briefly looked over the Kickstarter. I did not back it, so I will not be getting this when it's set to deliver in September of 2024. I guess my goal is to find a copy of it somewhere, maybe a local store I could demo it, or find someone in one of my groups to play it with. But despite that, super, super stoked for this. And I'm curious about you guys. Have you ever played a board game that is based on a video game? I know they've made several. So I know a recent one off the top of my head is Slay the Spire, which is also a kind of a deck builder roguelite. It does use cards, so maybe that translates even better into a board game. I'm not sure. But have you guys ever played one, and what did you think of it? Are you guys hyped for Dead Cells? Let me know in the comments below. I would really love to hear your input. And that wraps up my top 5 most anticipated games of 2024. Are you guys hype about any of these? Let me know in the comments below. And if not, tell me your most anticipated games of 2024. This is Jordan here at Totally Bored. We'll see you next time.